Hello, everyone, and welcome to our series on thinking with AI, real work, real time. Today, we are going to use ChatGPT, of course, not for any reason particular, but just because that's the tool we chose. If you've watched any of our videos before, you know we like to jump from tool to tool. And the reason we do that is because, as always, our little spiel. The structured thinking system can be used with any AI platform because it is an actual method for thinking, not creating prompts. You can watch hundreds of videos on Facebook, YouTube, and every other social media platform with prompts that can do everything from build you a business to make you a millionaire. The real reason it isn't happening as much as people would like you to believe is because knowing a prompt isn't as powerful as knowing how to think with AI. If you don't know that, your prompt will only take you as far as your first result. What I'm going to do real quick though, since I am using ChatGPT, is I'm going to put in here first time user simulation mode. This is a workflow that I've established with ChatGPT that lets me be able to come into ChatGPT and use it as if I am a brand new person. And it's going to assume that there's no history with me, that we don't know each other, all that other jazz. Kind of like Claude's incognito mode. All right. So that's kind of what's going on here. But anyway, just kind of a workflow set up for what we're going to do today. All right. So today we are just an independent contractor, just an independent business person, professional, and we've got a lot to do. In fact, we're feeling a little overwhelmed and not really sure where to start. So we're going to use ChatGPT to help us not be quite so overwhelmed and give us a little bit of organization for our week. So what I'm going to do. I've got everything already preloaded on the side on a separate screen just so I can move a little bit faster because I do know that your attention span is only so long, like all of ours. And so, since I value your attention, we want to make sure we keep that. So, what I'm doing is I'm dumping in all the prompt really, which is everything that what I need AI to know, right? I have 12 tasks and limited time this week. Help me prioritize them based on urgency, impact, and effort. All right. So if you'll notice, I've dumped all the tasks in there. I've got them as a simple little list there. You know, it doesn't really matter how you put the information into AI. A lot of times I'll free type. A lot of people like to use bullets and lists. It's just whatever you choose to do. But you know, whatever works for the situation. So I went ahead and put everything in there and it is generating a response. It's giving me priorities based upon urgency, time sensitive, impact, and effort, time required, and you know exactly what I asked for. And of course, it's got a list right there. Now, notice that my dump was pretty simplistic. I did put a lot of information in there, and when it comes to the way AI operates, there are a few principles here that you're observing. And number one is that AI will fill any void that you leave. And what that means is if you don't give it something specific, it's going to fill that with something that, you know, that it knows to do or something that, you know, it just kind of infers from whatever your request is. So I've got a simple execution plan, focus for days 1 to 2, days 3 to 4 and day 5. So, you know, this right here, this is what most people do. They just dump everything into AI and hope that AI figures it out. And while this is useful, or helpful rather, it's not really usable. Not really. I don't just need a list. I need clarity on what to actually do first. So, you know, let's kind of give it a little bit more information. So I'm going to add because of course we're in the loop here. This is where we are looking for, you know, we've got something specific we're looking for, and we're not going to just accept the first answer that AI gives us. And also notice real quick, if you want, I can turn this into a time blocked weekly schedule and a decision filter you can reuse every week. Well, I'm not really that, you know, that's not really what I want to do. And I could click one of those, but that's going to kind of take me away from what I want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of refine this a little bit more by putting a little bit more into the system. I'm going to say put this into a simple table with columns for task, urgency, impact, effort, and recommended priority. Then sort it so I can clearly see what I should focus on first. All right. So I'll send that through ChatGPT, and now we're getting something completely different, right? So looking at it, I can see that I've got high impact, high urgency, low effort, do first. I've got a whole bunch of do first, do next, and then if time allows, and then it gives you a quick read. And then, of course, it makes another suggestion. If you want to live this up one more step, I can convert this into a time blocked weekly plan, which the nature of Chat GPT itself, this is kind of a little bit, different than Claude in that Chat GPT is always going to be a little bit more aggressive in making recommendations for next steps. That's just kind of really the nature of the tool and how it works and how it operates. So I put a little bit more information in there. I got something that looks a little bit different, but I'm not going to ask for a better answer. I'm just going to ask for a better structure this time, right? I want something a little bit different based in structure. So I'm going to put a little extra information in there, kind of try and refine this a little bit more. I'm going to say, based on what you've done so far, give me the top 5 tasks I should focus on this week and explain why in one sentence each. So, what I'm really doing is by having AI explain why it picked those 5, I'm really having it justify and kind of do kind of like its own little independent stress test as to why those should be the top 5. And this is really where AI starts to become useful when I force it to make decisions because I'm forcing it to rationalize between this or that. And that's really where it starts to become useful. So we've got to respond to client emails. These are time sensitive and directly affect client relationships, trust, and ongoing work. Fix errors in last week's report. Incorrect data can lead to poor decisions and damage your credibility. Follow up with vendor about delayed materials. This is a blocking issue that can delay other work. So resolving it early prevents cascade of problems. Prepare a presentation for leadership meetings, high visibility, work with fixed deadline that impacts how leadership perceives you and your team, and finish monthly report a core deliverable that supports business tracking and likely has near-term decline. So why these 5? And then it gave me a summary. They either impact other people immediately, prevent bigger problems from happening, or are tied to visible deadline-driven outcomes, which is where your time has the highest return. All right. So I like this. I like the justification here, but I do want to see this presented in a little bit different form. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just send this, put one more round of refinement, and say, hey, just kind of turn this into a simple action plan for my week with what I should do first, second, and third. And I'm going to go ahead and send that through. And most people think using AI is about writing the perfect prompt, and it's really not. What it really is, it's about working the problem until the answer becomes useful, right? So right now, this is actually something that I didn't intend to happen, but this is something that happens no matter whether I'm in, my protected mode or not. But of course, ChatGPT is an open AI, so it's constantly learning. And what's going on right now is you're seeing this screen where the system is taking my situation and it's giving me answers, and then it's wanting me to choose which one that I feel is, of course, the best response so that it can learn from it. But either way, I've got my first, what I would do, and then all the reasons why, and exactly what to do, fix emails, respond, fix errors, or respond to all client emails, follow up with vendor, fix errors, second, midweek, third, end of week, that kind of thing. So whichever one I would prefer would be the one that I'm going to click with. I'm not actually going to do that right now because I'm in my simulation mode. But the goal here is to make sure that you're not just getting that first result and stopping with it, right? That's what a lot of people do, but constantly, going through the loop, which is really what that structured thinking loop is all about. Make sure that you're constantly sorting and refining the answer to make sure you get what you want. So remember, AI is only as useful as you're thinking when you're using it. So y'all have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. And don't forget, dump it, loop it, do it.